This Mother's Day, thousands of people will celebrate their mother's memory because she's no longer here. Every year, over 300,000 women in the U.S. die because of heart disease. What if we told you that you can control 80% of the problem if you simply know what to do and what to look out for? Through awareness, education, and community action, the Go Red for Women movement is working to save lives and change the future of heart health for women. Joining us with details are Gina Bamberg, the CEO of the Women's Hospital of Texas and chair of the Go Red Women, lifestyle blogger Roz Pachter. She doesn't just wear red for certain occasions. She goes red every day with her red glasses. But on the serious side, almost every member of her family has been gravely impacted by heart disease. Also joining us is Sarah Rittenauer with the American Heart Association Houston. Because of their efforts, more women can count themselves among the survivors. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I had my child at Texas Women. So anyway, yeah. All right. You know, the part of the problem with heart disease in women is that we have to get out of our minds that this is just a man's disease.
Right.
It is not, right?
Absolutely.
The other thing is we're so good at ignoring some of the symptoms, which can present differently than they do with men. But it's like extreme fatigue. Who's not extremely fatigued, right? And certain things. And we'll get more into that in a minute. But Gina, for you lost your grandmother to heart disease.
I did. My beloved grandmother, her name was Dorothy Dixie Doyle, also known as Mama Dot. Yeah, and she passed away at 58, which really started my awareness
58?
of heart. 58.
Yeah. And what did you know about heart disease before then?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Of course.
Most of us didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So that did that influence you entering the health field?
It absolutely helped me reflect on what I could do to raise awareness. And then my personal journey continued. Unfortunately, when I lost my husband, I was widowed at the age of 42 with two small children due to heart disease. So that sealed the deal.
The Women's Hospital of Texas, there are things that you work with women, especially women who are at maternal health and heart, right? Because there's a connection there.
Yes, of course. And that's really the reason why I decided to chair the Go Red Luncheon. This is really about education and empowerment, and there's so many things that women experience in pregnancy and menopause that changes their risk factors. So I want to make sure that everyone knows. So thank you for having us on to talk about it.
Chronic hypertension, cardiac arrhythmias, congenital heart abnormalities, all that stuff you can handle. All right, Roz, cardiovascular disease, we were talking yesterday, you say just runs so deeply in your family. Just go down the family tree and who hasn't been affected by it, right?
Well, I mean, all four grandparents and both parents for me.
Yeah, in fact, your dad at a very young age.
47. No signs ahead of time. I mean, it was such a shock. But all of us, I mean, even, even my brother is had a stroke. So, I mean, it's all related, heart and stroke.
And your brother, by the way, a lot of us know Steve Tyrell. We love him. Beautiful voice. But yeah, backing up to your dad at 47, this is how much it can come out of the blue. You were having pizza with him in 1 minute, and then
we were having pizza at midnight. And
They're
passed.
Italian family, everybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And he passed away at 3:05. I mean, and totally out of the blue.
Yeah. But
I mean,
here's
no
the deal.
idea.
This is what that tells you. That's why when we say family history, family history for the average person may not be, it may be a 10% more chance of something happening. But when you have a family history like that, you actually go get checked every 6 months.
Every 6 months. And the thing with my dad I want to mention is that he was nauseous. How many people get nauseous? We all get nauseous. And
especially
the only
with pizza
reason,
at midnight.
Exactly, that's what my mother said to him. And we had no Alka-Seltzer in the house. So we took him to emergency, had no idea it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
So it's all these little subtleties.
Yeah, so your involvement in several ways. Shop with Heart Share. Tell us what Shop with Heart is.
Shop with Heart card, which starts technically tomorrow, we have about 200 retailers involved and restaurants, and it's your ability to make a donation to Heart, because we only get Heart funding from the sale of the card.
Yeah.
But then you go to a store and there's all kinds of discounts and special offers and whatever.
Restaurants, all that type of stuff.
Everybody. I mean, a lot of good restaurants this year. We've gotten, I mean, we got great retailers. We have about 200.
Win-win there. All right, Sarah, the start of the American Heart Association, basically over 100 years old, but there was a realization that too many people were dying when there were some things that we could do. More things we can do today than before, but a group of doctors started it.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I said Ross there. Yes, actually, and Go Red for Women specifically, this is our 22nd year. And so we are really leaning into our rally cry this year, which is red means go, a play on the red means stop. And that is basically for women to go prioritize ourselves, prioritize our health, know our numbers, educate women, bring awareness to it, and that's what the luncheon's all about.
And speak about educating. I'm just like, you know, that we talked about shortness of breath and nausea. That happens a lot.
Exactly.
For extreme fatigue, we talked about that. But jaw discomfort, lightheadedness. I think at the end of the day, if you feel like you don't feel right, just go in and get checked, because you never know.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes, the first symptom of heart disease for a lot of people is the actual heart attack, right?
Right.
But here's where the association has just really paid off. Research and breakthroughs. We know much more today than ever before. And I mentioned earlier, there's much more control in our hands because of that than I think people realize.
Right.
But speaking of that research, my mom had conjunctive heart failure, and at 93 had the TAVR procedure, and they went up through her groin and never had to crack. My dad had to have his chest cracked 17 years before, but that's a result of the research and things that are paid for. All right, heart care starts with us. So let's go through the things that we should be doing. Lifestyle number one.
Lifestyle number one, know your numbers. Go get checked. Make sure you're going to the physician every single year, and then prioritizing your health.
Yeah.
So that means, you know, exercising, like I said, showing up and making sure your cholesterol's checked, your blood pressure and whatnot.
And what all that means when you say lifestyle too, it's like, you know, diabetes. I think a lot of people just dismiss diabetes as it's this thing. It's the number one reason for heart disease, right? And so you have the insulin resistance or diabetes, make sure you understand what it's doing in your body. It's not just a blood sugar issue, it's a whole body issue, right? Smoking, obesity, being stationary, those things that we're told all the time. Many risk factors are modifiable, as we know. And so Houston Heart Guild, Roz, that's something else that you're involved in.
Yes, it's a great group because we all have the same cause,
Right.
and we all have the same purpose. But we made it very educational. You know, we like to, because we want to stay on top of the best doctors doing the best procedures. So we do. It's educational, but and we try to also make it not doldrum. I mean, we make it fun.
Yeah.
We do a lot of fun. I mean, the heart card's fun.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's a lot of work.
When you're involved shopping with anything,
Yeah,
things
exactly,
change.
exactly.
And Sarah, you know, obviously one of the things that we want to do is to get to people early, because the body is very forgiving for a long time, right? You do a lot of stuff to it before it finally says no more. And so what you start doing as a child even, or as a teenager even can impact your health later on. You have Teens and Women of Impact program.
Yes, we do. So Teen of Impact, actually that last year was our first year, and this is our second year. Basically, it's a group of change makers. So they're going out, they're learning more about heart health, education, or educating their peers, and bringing awareness even to family members. I spoke to a few teens following the Teen of Impact this past campaign year, and several of them told me, they said, well, we didn't know this about heart, we didn't know that about heart. And then they're also—
We didn't know all those caffeine drinks that we were doing. Probably not those.
Exactly.
Yes, but
Right,
also
exactly.
it created change. They you know, went to their parents. They talked to them about getting healthy, because I think there was a bit of fear too. And then especially for the females, because we are so used to putting ourselves last and not making ourselves a priority. It's really important that we do that, and we show the next generation that prioritizing our health, that's going to make the change for the future.
Also, Mom RX, the maternal health program, and again, that's one of those things that if you think something's wrong, you all can handle that for especially in that maternal phase. And a lot of times people, they'll be pregnant and just keep moving on and not think about it.
Right.
Things can be happening even if you don't realize it.
Right, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, all of that sets you up for problems later in your life. And women experience hormonal changes that really helps to raise our risk factors.
Yeah. All right, ladies, thank you so much for what you're doing. I know you have your
you.
luncheon tomorrow.
Tomorrow, May
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah. That's
Red means
another
go.
avenue
Yes.
of raising money, but it'll be a— What did you say, Roz?
Well, I was going to say the main thing that I've taken from the Go Red movement is that I grew up with heart all around me and heart problems. And it's taught us that it's preventable.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, if you come from even if your family's not got the best genes, there's things you can do, which you guys have all taught us. And that's the big, you know.
Well, like you said, you get
takeaway.
checked every 6 months. And
Yeah,
so if they
exactly.
see something coming, you can interrupt it 9 times out of 10, and we
Exactly.
can stop that from
Yeah,
happening.
my cardiologist is the one that even suggested that to me. Let's go to 6 months. And I
Yes.
went, okay.
All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
All right.
Thank you.
The Go Red for Women Luncheon with guest speaker Jenny Garth is happening tomorrow at the Post Oak Hotel. To purchase your shop with Heart Card, you can visit shophouston.heart.org to learn learn more about the American Heart Association, visit heart.org/Texas. They have lots of great information and resource information.